Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit the share button, and hit the subscribe button. This is Left Side of the Brain. What I want to talk about today, and don't forget, hit the subscribe button. We want to get our numbers up. Let's get these numbers up. Before you even do anything else, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. We got to get the numbers up on this channel. We want to get as many subscribers as we can, so our videos will be proliferated throughout YouTube in the cyberspace spiritual warfare. So when someone is watching a HPB video, then guess what? Ours will be next in rotation. So they'll see the counter side of the HPB realm, okay? So with that, let's get into today's piece. All right. First of all, a channel update. You know that situation with that female? Well, luckily, I'm out of that. I had to let that female go because she was becoming a burden. She had more than a financial problem. It was, she had mental issues. And y'all, and some of y'all were commenting. Now, when I say that she had mental issues, I'm not saying that she was a bad person. She just had some mental stuff, taking place. She was like really mentally, she wasn't all the way there. I'll say that. And she was a burden. I had to send her. I helped her out as best as I could, but I had to free myself from that, because in this HPB realm, you don't want to take on other people's burdens. No, I didn't say you can't help other people, but it's a difference between helping someone and someone becoming burdensome, okay? A burden is when you're dealing with someone and it's more than just financial. This thing was mental. She has a background in life. I'm not gonna put out all of her business, but you probably could see it in her. She had mental issues, a lot of trauma in her life. I'll just keep it at that. And I'm not no psychotherapist. I do HPB therapy. And something else she did that I didn't like, but I'm gonna keep that off the camera. But I tried my best, but at sometimes, you might try to do something good, and then it's not a strike against your generosity. It's just that generosity sometimes doesn't always go the way you would think. It doesn't always go the way you think it should go. Things in life typically have a strange way of taking twists and turns, even with someone as knowledgeable like myself. That's just the nature of humans, whether HPB or not. That's just the nature of human beings. So that's why it's best to stick with yourself. You know what I mean? So I just had to give you a truthful channel update on that. Also, thanks to everyone who did donate. She did receive the few donations that were given. It wasn't much, but people did help out. So appreciate anybody. And another thing, I don't knock anybody who didn't want to donate. Okay, it's no shade on you. It's no shade on me. I don't think I'll ever do that again. Honestly, I won't. Honestly, that was me. I guess demonstrating my just natural care for an individual who seemed to be decent, but then the more I talked to that person, the more I realized this person had mental issues. I offered to take them to see a psychiatrist, but we got everything squared away. But just know you won't be seeing her on the channel again because she really needs help. So don't dog her out. She has some trauma things that happen. I found out she got some traumatic things that happened in her past. So, but anyway, that's just a channel update. Now let's get into this. In front of the way, I don't want to hear nobody bringing that up again. That's done with. That's in the past. It didn't change me. It didn't change you. Let's forget about that and let's just move forward on this channel. No, I'm not no simp. I was actually laughing at those comments. I was like, these people are, oh, wow, man. And some of the people leaving them comments, I was surprised some people would leave comments like that. Like, knowing me, and you would think I'm simping. First of all, a simp is someone who is dealing with a female and he's spending money and she not giving back anything sexually. And she's cheating on him and he knows it, but yet he's still helping her. First of all, that was not no relationship that you saw on camera. That wasn't no relationship or anything. That has nothing to do with no, come on, y'all. Like, I'm surprised y'all would underestimate me like that. Come on now. But anyway, we squashed that. I don't want to hear nothing else about that. Forget about that. Let's keep going on this thing that we've been on since the beginning. So I don't want to hear nothing else about that. I'm telling y'all now. As a matter of fact, I might go ahead and take that video down. But I might keep it up because even still it's history. You know what I mean? Even still, it's channel history. And I don't have to hide nothing or sugarcoat anything. But I'm just saying, I don't want to hear nothing else about that under these videos or anything, or I will remove the comment. Let's keep the comments back. Let's get back on this ride. That was just a brief commercial. Forget about it. Now, what I want to talk about, you know what I was thinking, man? Whether we know it or not, all of us, we were in the HPB realm ever since we was born. But we just wasn't aware of it. Like, all of our friends coming up, our childhood friends in school, family members, even some of our parents, all of that time, we were actually dealing with HPBs, but we was just unaware of it. Our entire life, we've been dealing with HPBs, but wasn't even aware of it. And that's the truth. Our entire life. Most of our best friends in school, whether we admit it or not, were HPBs. In elementary school, middle school, high school, those were HPBs. Our high school coach, varsity team, basketball coach, middle school coach, all of them were HPBs. Your favorite teacher in school were HPBs. We just wasn't aware of it at the time because we didn't have this type of information back then. But remember, I did a video and I was like, a person blossoms into a soul around the age of middle school. That's when you start blossoming, because you don't come into your full self until you reach like your teens, as far as that soul expression. Okay? Your full self, far as that full soul expression, till you are I would say around 14, that's when it really starts, that flower really starts to blossom. So puberty, even though it's a physical sign of maturity, they don't tell you that puberty is also a time of spiritual maturity, spiritual blossoming. You know what I mean? For those who have a soul, like regular people, the soulless ones, the HPBs, puberty for them is just the time when they just start growing a beard, or she start getting breast, start her first period. That's the only thing puberty means for them. But for people with souls, puberty means it's that time of life when you start seeing the difference between you and them. And let me tell y'all a story. I can remember being in high school, right? And I was in the hallway and I just paused for a moment and I looked at everybody. I just stared like this. Look at my head. That was the first time I really had this revelation that I was in the HPB realm. I had to been around, I was around, I want to say like 17. I could have been around 17 at the time. I could have been 18 because I think it was my 12th grade year, I believe. I believe I was like 18. Could have been 17. Could have been 17. 17 or 18. But I know I was probably in the 12th grade. But I had looked like this. I had looked around like this. And at that moment, I realized that I was not like anybody else in that school. Everybody just looked like the Matrix to me. See, back then, that we wouldn't have called it the Matrix. And it was no terminology like HPB and all of that. It was no way to put it under a label, but I knew that I was separate from everybody. And I'll never forget that moment. That was an awakening moment for me. You can call that my enlightenment, my moment of enlightenment. And I just looked around at everybody and I knew, and I was very aware of the cliques in the school. Like, you know, the different cliques and how people form bonds, the popular people and the unpopular people. I was always like in between. You know what I mean? Because I could do certain things. Like I was athletic, but far as like socially, I was like not an outcast, because a social outcast is someone that is like weak and probably don't got good looks, socially awkward, don't know how to talk to females. I never had that problem. But far as what they were into, like the music they listened to, I was always into like underground hip hop, graffiti, art, the arts, abstract art. I always read books, but I didn't come off as no geek or anything. But even still, I could tell that when I was around these people, that they didn't vibrate with me. Like I started to realize like certain girls would only talk to certain type of dudes, and those dudes would always be those lame dudes. Like their conversation was very shallow. I started realizing that. So saying all of that to say that when we was coming up back then, we was in the HPB realm, but there was no left side of the brain channel, nobody to tell you that. So that speaks volumes to how the HPB realm will never reveal itself. It's not taught in the schools. And that's what's so tricky about it. It doesn't tell you that you are inside of it. It doesn't tell you that you was born into it. It doesn't tell you that the people that's been over you all your life, who you were told to look up to, like your teachers. I'm gonna tell y'all something else. Even some of the ministers and preachers that was over your churches when you was coming up were HPBs. I'm telling you, they disguise themselves in every facet and genre that you can think of. Whether you were Christian, you had Christian ministers who were HPBs. Whether you were Muslim, you had imams and sheikhs who were HPBs, but you never knew it. But I don't want to get into religion because that's a whole nother topic. But I'm just saying, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever religion, your gurus that you looked up to, a lot of them were HPBs. I'm telling you. See, the HPB thing is a religion within itself. But that's another topic for another day. Right? But these HPBs, they work in unison. Cause I remember, like, when people are bullying on people that's different. Now, when a person is bullied, it doesn't mean they always being bullied because they not an HPB and the HPBs are bullying them. It's not always because of that reason. But in some circumstances, that can be the reason. Like, for me, it was more of I was bullied as well, but my bullying was more so in the form of the way I think. Like in certain conversations, whether in school, in family, roundtable discussions, my conversations was always, people would be like, oh, don't nobody want to hear that. Oh, that's a form of bullying. Whenever somebody says something that's opposite of the mainstream crowd and the people that's listening, they start saying, here he go again. That's a form of bullying and harassment. It is. And those same people will be like freedom of speech, and everybody should have the right to say what they want to say. But when you say something that goes against the grain, oh, I don't want to hear that. Oh, that's a form of bullying. That's a form of harassment, whether we know it or not. But like I said, in that video that I did, spiritual racism. Go back and watch that video. I discussed this. Like, there is no bandwagon for us. There is no United Souls Lives Matter campaign. They don't got that set up. You know? I hate when people call me during my video. I hung up the phone. I hung up. I seen it coming in. I just hung up because I'm making a video right now. And I don't like people to do that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look out for ourselves in this world. We got to form our own Voltron in the invisible way, in the invisible realm. The same way they attack us in the invisible realm, we got to form in the invisible realm, like this channel, based upon the information. You feel what I'm saying? You know, so, and here's another thing. Everybody is born an HPB. Before your soul develops, you are born an HPB. But the difference is we have the ability to grow out of it. Because be honest, we wasn't always cognizant of this stuff. Or should I say everybody was born? Yeah, everybody was born with the mind of an HPB. Because when your mind wasn't at the level where you can see what the HPB realm is, you basically was operating like them. So yeah, I was right. Everybody is born in that HPB with that HPB mindset, which is the mind which doesn't say or expose HPBs. But the difference is we can grow. We had the ability to understand, and we got the eyes to see what it was as we started to grow. Like I said, when we start to grow into that puberty stage, which also is a stage of spiritual blossoming. You feel what I'm saying? See, the world of HPBs, they only tell you about physical puberty. They don't mention a part of the spiritual puberty that takes place around those same years. They don't tell you about that. But it's during those same years where we started to see. For men, your voice gets deeper. And likewise, your thoughts as a man gets deeper. You get it? Your voice gets deeper, your thinking gets deeper. And that's the law of exceedings. You see how I'm using the terminology and the facts and the definitions? It all plays in together. You know, I'm not going to tell you what the law of exceedings is and what I just said. You got to keep up with the channel. Some people who've been following understand what I just did and what I just said. So your voice got deeper. And likewise, that's a reflection of what was taking place in the spiritual realm. Your voice got deeper. And your spiritual insight got deeper as well. When we was coming up, we was just like HPBs. The only spirituality we had was what we learned about in church, in the Bible. That's the only spirituality we had. You see what I'm saying? Other than that, we didn't have no spirituality. But as you grew older, you started to see. Okay? But everybody is born with that HPB mindset. And here's the thing. If you don't water that soul flower, it can end up being an HPB. You can end up becoming an HPB. You know, you have to exercise your muscles or your muscles will deteriorate. They call it muscle, what is it called? Muscle atrophy, dystrophy, something like that. When you just sit around and you don't exercise your muscles. That's why it's important for us coming up during those years. It was important for us to be around people that can help nurture that soul that was inside of us. Because I know all of us had somebody in our life that helped influence our development. You know? All of us. Whether it was a lyric that you heard in a song. And that's why positive information is good, because you might say one thing that can spark that inactivated soul that was lying in someone, that was lying dormant inside of them. That's one reason why I put these videos up. You might say one thing that sparks an element of life inside of a person, and they bloom and blossom because of that. You feel me? But regardless, if you got a soul, you're going to be drawn magnetically to the right information. That's why all of you that tune into this channel, that's why you keep coming back. Even though you was talking shit about Left Side on that video with that girl, y'all still know that this is where the information is, on this channel right here. Regardless of all that shit talking, y'all still came back because you know that Even though I might not agree with this video Left did, you can't knock his message. And that's what matters, the information. You know what I mean? That's what matters the most. The information. You feel me? You can't knock this information because you know there is nobody else on YouTube exposing the HPB realm. Nobody else. Nobody else. And that's where I come in to fill the void. I'm that missing peg that completes the puzzle. Not me, but the information. You know what I mean? It's the information that God gives me. So that's why y'all came back, because you can't live without water. You can go without soda and popcorn, but you can't live without water. This is like water. And a lot of y'all, you be thirsty for this. If I'm gonna be thirsty for something, it's gonna be for something like this. This is that real life information. If you're wondering, I'm in Walmart right now. I'm in Walmart making this. You know what I mean? I like making these out in public because we're talking about the HPB realm. So this is the perfect backdrop to do these videos. You feel me? But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to let y'all know that we've been in this HPB realm since way back then. And when that thought came to me, I was like, I gotta do a video today and tell them about this. Like, we was in the HPB realm as kids. Isn't that something? And we didn't even know it. We was in the HPB realm way back then. Think about your childhood life and all of them people that you said was your friends back then, your best friends, and all of that. Did any of them talk about this, HPB realm and all of that? And where are they now? You don't even keep up with them no more. You know why? They was just HPB characters in your life for that moment. They was just HPB characters in your life for that moment. Go back to your high school yearbook and tell me all them faces in that yearbook were not HPBs. Facts. And I'm gonna end this video right there. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and hit the subscribe button. This is Left Side of the Brain signing out. Jaguars up, HPBs down.